I'm excited. We get to talk about walkers. Oh, I gotta get this view. Gallery. There we go. Bam! Connected, 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 and connected. Watch.
Yeah, sun's out.
Something's what?
Sun is out.
Sun's out, guns out. All right, on that one, we're going to get it started. Ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. Here I am, flying Navarro with the No BS World Tour, coming at you live early Friday morning, getting ready to get this weekend started. I am here with the man, the myth, the legend, the Commodore, Mr. Carl Allen of Walker's Key. Commodore, how are you today, sir?
Good fly. Great to be with you today.
Excellent, excellent. As we can see, you are sitting on the back deck of the Access. Your one of your boats you have over there in the Bahamas. And I'm assuming, because I can't see behind you, I'm assuming you are somewhere in or around Walker's Key.
Yes, actually, we are sitting in the harbor, and I'm on the Axis, and we're sitting here looking at the sub here. I knew I had to bring something big because I'm coming off the Gale Force twins, and I had to do something big for you there. So
Ah,
a lot of views on that. Lots.
I'll tell you what, my numbers behind the scenes, we reached out to something like 61 or 62,000 people.
Hour
So
and a half with them.
I didn't want to end it because of the fact that everybody was asking so many cool questions and wanted to be a part. So I kept it going. But those are big shoes to fill. Do you have it in you today?
Well, it's like following Johnny Carson, but yeah, let's go.
So you have the big boat. You now tell me you have the entire fleet inside the marina as we speak, correct?
Yeah, it's been great since about mid-August. We've been able to get the Axis in here, which is 183 feet. She's drafted about 10 feet. The GG, it's 164-foot Westport, drafted about 8.5. We got the frigate in here, a bunch of tenders. We're all up against the western wall here. Almost done. Almost done. Seems like we're setting milestones every day on the marina. Almost done with the marina, I should say, but it's close.
That's a good thing. There's been a lot of craziness since the last time I was over there. We've had, I believe it's been two storms skirt by, and
Yes.
a lot of government stuff going on with the whole COVID thing. So let everybody know exactly some of the things that you guys have been dealing with just in the progress of the work for the marina and the island.
Sure. I mean, when you talk about the storms, thank God we've had a light season here. But, every time you get anything, everybody gets pretty, and there's still a Dorian effect here, obviously, and have lots of struggling going on. The biggest thing this year has been the pandemic and, with these islands being down and the workers in here. To be honest, we've probably been running about 50% workers. We're fortunate enough to have a bunch of people from Little Grand Key, and we have workers that stay over at Big Grand Key. So fortunately, we've been able to get those folks over here. But it's been tough. I won't lie to you. It's every day something different, and we're trying to keep things moving. So I'm real excited about today. We're poured the foundation of the church for everybody. That's a big thing.
Woo! That's awesome.
Lots of people, want to get married there. Lots of people want to renew their vows. I think my favorite story is Billy Black when he turns 80, which is not that far away. He wants to get married there, and I'm I'm an ordained minister. My wife signed me up on the internet, so I'm gonna probably marry him.
Ah, Gigi signed you up on the internet.
You
Oh,
know,
that is awesome.
that's
So,
one of the two things.
what else can you do besides just weddings? I mean, I might need you to sign off on me on something on a big deal, or I don't know.
You know what? I'd love to do a confessional with you. That would be
Listen, between you and I, one of us would get hit by lightning. So I don't know about that. That's where we got to be very, very careful.
yeah.
So here's a question. I don't know if you know, but I had Billy Black on the podcast the other day. We had a great time talking a lot of stories, and a lot of stuff about Walker's Key back in the day, and some of the big fish that he harvested, and some that he tried and wasn't so lucky. The big ones that got away.
Yeah. I mean, we had a real neat moment this summer when the Duchess pulled in. It was, I think Billy even got a little emotional coming in, and he didn't know it, but we had a cannon blast when he come in. And, Billy's a Vietnam vet, and I about blew him off his tower that day. And, but it was pretty neat to see him come in and park in between the Gigi and the frigate. And we got a great picture of that, I think, on the internet. We had dinner that night. He travels with some great people, customers, and the guys that work for him. And he's a legend here. He's the fabric of this place, and he's the only one that actually will have a dock in his name here. So
he is definitely a legend. He is definitely a legend, and he did tell me about that cannon. He said it took him right back to some PTSD. He was about to hit the ground and roll.
Thought he was going to put me in a headlock and wrestle me to the ground or something. But it was a really special moment. And the next time we have something like that is when we see the Sea Lion 2 pull in here, which you see on the Facebook every day what they're doing with that boat, and it is magnificent.
They've got some good stuff going on with the Sea Lion as they're getting ready to relaunch it after it went down in the hurricane. So that's it's nice to see some of this old tradition coming back. So you've poured the foundation for the church, and Billy said he's going to get married in there. Is it true, the rumors I hear, that you are renewing your vows? You're going to be the first customer in there?
Usually when I walk into a church, the same glass starts to rattle. So I walk in there first. Gigi's over there watching. She's nodding her head that
I was assuming Gigi was close by, so that's why I threw out a loaded question.
Let me throw it back at you, Fly. When are you getting married? Anytime soon, or?
No, sir. Listen, I'm not one of the marrying kind. I'm a firm believer in leasing. It's just like property. You lease. I also say that because my girlfriend is out working on horses and not here to club me over the head. So
We could.
you can change that, huh? I'll tell you what, if I ever change my mind and it happens, I'm calling you to be my minister, and we'll do it at your church.
Absolutely, Fly. You got the right place.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So, so tell us a little bit more about what you've got going on. We know, and now I see Dominic Lacombe Jr. Jumping in from American Custom Yacht saying, "Great question for Fly." At that point, that's when I run around and don't tell. I try to change the subject. That's what I try to do. You wedding? What? Marriage? No, 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 no. Let me tell you about this time I caught this giant blue marlin. Let me tell you about this time I was in Walker's trying to bonefish, and all I can catch was a small mutton snapper.
I was.
Yeah, I have witnesses. So you have a lot of stuff going on there at the island, and people have a lot of questions, and um and we know that this is an ever moving target because we have hurricane season, we have pandemic, we have the Bahamian government that's, and it's not just the Bahamian government, it's every government that is constantly changing different mandates on how people can come in, how businesses can come in. So I know when I went there and we spent some time in Walker's, you had a certain uh, date time frame. It was a moving one, just like any kind of big project. Now, how are things coming along, and what are some of the things that you're thinking are happening?
Okay, yeah, lots there. I mean, one thing, fortunately, I do have a very good relationship with the government. Unfortunately, there's an election coming up, so things can change. This Prime Minister, Dr. Minnis, has been through an awful lot as a Prime Minister, probably more than all the other ones combined. And he does have a lot of support, but they have limited resources in this country. They really do. So that's the problem. I think building that infrastructure is his main goal. But as far as Walker's goes, we are probably the end of the year. We'll have all the docks in.
Okay.
Okay, there won't be a lot of structure here. Maybe the church, but the we're actually a little farther along than it looks because a lot of it's being prefabbed in Florida. Okay, there'll be a lot of stick built here as well, but I'm going to call it 50-50, let's say. So once the docks are in, people will be able to come in and dock, probably, even be free for a while, but you'll be dodging construction, and we'll have somebody here that will manage that. But I do want to get people in here to check it out. We've enlarged the marina quite a bit. As you know, we're definitely catering to the center console market. So to answer your question, end of the year for that kind of stuff. As far as you and I looking at a soft opening, we talked about the other day, I think we'll be able to do something in the spring, very soft. My first fishing tournament. By the way, do you know anybody that organizes fishing
Uh,
tournaments?
I do. I do know somebody. And I'm not very big on recommending people, but I'll recommend this guy.
Perfect. You got it. I will work with you. So I think sometime in the spring that we could have some kind of a soft opening with, I would like to see the first thing with, it'll have to be an invitational, but somewhere around 50 boats. Sometime next year, late next year, we will have a hard open. I can't tell you when right now, just because there's so many factors, but we will be open sometime next year. And our initial opening is with 20 keys, as you know. A lot more coming after that. We'll have a big restaurant called Maravilla, a bar called Corks, which is named after my stepfather who introduced me to the island in 1976. And that, as people know, I think we'll have a floating dock system, a company called Port Loop that we went around, I believe, the world looking at to see that that's what we wanted. Fuel docks, we're going to have a big old store, scuba store. We're big divers here. This thing behind me, we're probably going to offer sub rides, which I've done sub riding all over the Caribbean. Some of the best sub diving is just right out here.
And I could
So
attest to that because I've been on that sub.
that's right. You were here. Once you go past 150 feet out here, you're really looking at stuff that nobody's seen before. And one of my main missions is to figure out how the bonefish are spawning and working with the Bonefish Tarpon Trust and trying to figure out if we can track these bonefish down to where they're spawning, and nobody's ever seen that before. So
That would be very cool. That would be very.
That's kind of the dates. I'll get better as we go, but I'll tell you, things have happened pretty rapidly here in the last few weeks, and we set a milestone like every day. I mean, there's something new. We all kind of clap our hands, and we're almost finished with the concrete at the end of the marina there. We're 90% done with the concrete, and docks. I said first docks coming in here next week, so we're pretty excited.
That is awesome. And for those of you that are joining us later, haven't seen the video, I highly recommend you guys take a look at the Walker's Key page to look at the video when you guys took the GG first into the marina. It was really, really amazing. That was a great milestone.
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that I've always wanted to do here is a small, super yacht, big yacht basin. We'll be able to handle 6 or 8 of them, and there's nobody around that does that. Baker's is pretty bad right now, and you can go to Freeport, you can go to Nassau, but if you're coming down, these big yachts coming down from the Northeast or from Bermuda or even Europe, it's a great stop. You can drop your guest off, give your crew a break. It's really going to be something new and unique, and we're definitely going to promote that. So,
I actually was talking with a mega yacht company that was asking me about helping them put together a rendezvous. So, your spot would be a beautiful location for something like that.
absolutely, and we can fit a bunch in here, but we also have a great anchorage out in between us and Grand Key. We anchor out there all the time.
That is
So,
awesome.
but once
Now, go ahead.
we'll be able to, we're going to be up at 13 foot at low tide. So I believe we'll get up to 200 footers in here. That's not going to be all the time. I'm really catering to the center consoles, the convertibles, the express boats. That's really where I come from. And I'm proud that we're keeping the old Jantry, the iconic Jantry that Walker's had. It's going to be at the end of the dock, just like it was. The old one I couldn't work with. It was all rusted out, but I made a deal with our main general, and he's going to duplicate it. We'll have a very similar Walker sign. So I want that feel that what I remember is that seeing that, and you're Walkers.
Absolutely. Now, it's ironic. The other day I was texted a photo of an old conch chowder recipe, and it had the original Walker's logo on it.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was Izzy Mays. Yes.
I'll have to say
I've got to come back here is what we got to do.
that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Sure.
So for everybody that's watching, just so you know, every once in a while you come a little gargled. You're at about 95% most of the time. So everybody knows you're broadcasting off of satellite internet. So every once in a while, if you hear the satellite or the garble, it could be because the boat's swaying or cloud coverage or whatever. But Carl, to let you know, you're 95% of the time you're clear as a bell. But every once in a while we get a little hiccup. And you say you're going to be catering to the center console market here in South Florida. That center console market is ginormous. It is a huge, huge market. And here in Florida, from my home inlet, it's only 104 miles. So depending on which center console you're on, it's 2.5, 3 hours, and you're in Walkers.
Yes. I mean, you're looking at these that are like yachts today. I mean, look at what CV's building, that new 45, the Valhallas, if you've seen those, 4 engines, huge center consoles. They'll get, like you said, in Stewart, hour and a half, and I can't ignore that. And so, it's a stopping point for going down to Marsh, which is going to be a while before they come back. And again, we're the first. The Prime Minister said it to me once. You're the gateway of the Bahamas, and that's what we want to be known for. And trying to cater to all boats as much as we can. It's a challenge, but I think with this marina, we're gonna be able to pull it off.
That's awesome. Now, your ultimate goal, and again, we know that it's ever changing. Your ultimate goal, how many turnkey rooms are you planning at the moment to have available to people?
So when we're all done, and it doesn't include my Bonefish Lodge, but around 50 keys. Okay, and we'll have an additional 8 when I build the lodge down south there, and then also, we're talking about a pretty neat, like a honeymoon lodge on the west end of the island there. That's kind of all by itself, and good getaway and fabulous beach. And there's some. The one thing about Walkers is they're unlike a lot of the islands east of here. We've got these magnificent trees. We got thousands of coconut trees and palms, and the fig trees that are here are magnificent, and they grew wild. And I could take you around, and you've seen it. Some of the trees here are magnificent. So be able to use those where we were going to place the cottages and the structure. I believe it's going to be one of the most beautiful islands in the Bahamas when we're done.
Well, it's about location, 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 and you definitely have it. And along with the history and the fishing, there's so many great fishing opportunities inshore and offshore. You have spectacular diving. So Walker's has a little bit of it all to give to everybody.
Yes.
So
I mean, that's the fantastic about it is you've been out here. We've done it all, and I think the only thing we missed was the marlin. But the variety here of the backcountry with the bonefish, we've actually done it in one day. We went out in 3 days. We caught the permit, the bonefish, and the tarpon. And you go offshore and you're catching wahoo and tuna. When the tuna are running, everything's out there. We caught a couple of marlin in the last couple of weeks, and it's just the variety. And I pinch myself. My God, we're 100 miles from Florida, and we got it all here.
how awesome is that? 100 miles from Florida, come by boat, come by plane. Now, tell us, speaking of talking about plane, tell us a little bit about the runway, what your plans are with the runway for people who have planes or want to charter a plane to come over.
Well, I'm a big plane guy. We have a few of them. They're necessary when you have an island. It's 2,600 feet. You're not going to get a jet in here unless you got some real cojones. But it's perfect for things like the Caravan, Pilatus. We have a Cirrus in our family. It's great for that. And I mean, my gosh, you can be at the Stewart Airport in about 35 minutes. And so it's just a short hop. I'm going to repave it before we open, which will be nice. We won't have an ILS or anything like that, but I'll promise you pilots out there that we'll put in a good solid windsock, and we'll have radio contact here. So
that is nice.
Looking getting her up and running. So
and
here's our Walker's logo there.
Is that the new logo?
That's kind of our logo, and we got shirts now. If anybody's interested, there's the Walkers with. I always like to throw the numbers on there. There's the Latin long. So
it's always nice to have the Latin long.
Yes.
And now if somebody wanted to find one of those hats, you have where can people find that?
That's not really me. I don't know where you find that stuff. Facebook store. All right. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't expect you to have every answer, but I know you have everybody at your fingertip to get the answer.
Yes. Or you can call my wife's cell phone 214.
Yes. Hello, Gigi. I'd like 3 shirts and 2 hats, please. And a cup of that conch chowder while you're I'd like some conch chowder. So you have been over there pretty much looking this project for 5 months now, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we bought the island in 2018 from the Aplanats, and struggled almost immediately with the storms. And then, obviously last year, but yes, we've spent 5 solid months out here now. And, you get a lot. It's hard when you're here, you don't see the progress, but when you go away and come back, like if you came back, you would literally walk around with your mouth open how much we've done on the island.
I can believe it. I can believe it. What was there was a certain question I wanted to ask you. And we were talking about overlooking. Okay. So in those 5 months, and I know you're not sitting there looking at construction every day, you're doing some fishing. What's your best day of fishing so far? What, in those 5 months you've been there, what's the one day that sticks out the most for you? And you're not allowed to say it's the day that I caught the mutton snapper. I'm not letting you say that.
I think that's a hard question, because if it's offshore, it's certainly when the days we catch the blue marlins. And I want to take you up there. There's that buoy that's off of Canaveral, and it's like 90 miles from here. We run up there, spend the night, and it's just loaded. Every time we go up there, we catch fish. But that probably is my memorable moment going to the buoy offshore. But inshore was the day we discovered the tarpon. We were over there near Grand Key, and we were bone fishing in the flats boats, and we kind of drifted off the flats. And I'm like, what in the hell is that? And like 3 tarpons swam by, and so that afternoon we went and got some pilchers and a fly rod, and we just nailed them. We caught 2 with the pilchers and 1 on the fly rod, and they're big fish. My God, they're 50, 60. We caught one that was about 80 pounds, and of course you know what they do when you hook them. And so that was about 3 weeks ago, and doing that, I think we wore it out already, but we know we're probably gonna try it this afternoon. Yeah, that's it for sure.
That's awesome. And it's funny with all the things that you have available to catch over there. The fact the tarpon day is what sticks out the best.
Well, as a kid, I used to go to Boca Grande over there on the west coast of Florida, and you'd fish for them on the beach and in the channel there, and just got addicted to the tarpon. That's my ultimate fish with the blue marlin.
I I couldn't agree with you more. I know I grew up tarpon and snook fishing, so there's always a special spot in my heart, catching snook, catching tarpon, the inshore stuff. So it's a big deal for me.
We'll take you out to that place when you come back. So.
I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna hold you to it. But you're getting ready to come home soon. You're heading back here in a few days, I think.
I think so. Yeah, we're gonna look for a good weather day. We're gonna probably come back here in December for a few weeks. Take January and February off, and then probably March is when we were hoping to get here this year, and we weren't able to get here till May because of the pandemic. And like I said, I think next year's a big year for this island. It's going to be, grand opening time sometime.
I'm really looking forward to that. Now here's a question because I know it's autumn time, weather's starting to get cooler, and I know that you're a big quail hunter. Do you have your first quail hunt lined up yet for the season?
Well, it's interesting. I get a lot of invitations, so I usually pick best ranches that I know, and we'll probably do something. But very excited that my family just got we do hunting leases. We've done it for 30 years out in West Texas, and we got a big place out near San Angelo, and we have a quota. It's a managed property. We have a quota for 130 deer, and so mostly doe, but like $35. So we're all excited about that. We got the predators and the hogs, and in Texas we have a fall turkey season, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting switching gears, and putting on the camouflage and not rocking all the
time. That's right. In Texas, you're most of the time you're either hunting from a truck or you're hunting from the ground, as opposed to sitting in a tree, and sometimes the trees rock.
Right.
So it'll be nice to get a little cool weather, and I know we've just starting. It's still hot here in Florida, but there's been a couple of days that we don't have 110% humidity. It has been very, very nice. It has been very nice.
PG and I we are Yankees at heart. We're originally from Chicago, so we like the little bit of the cold weather and the foliage. And but the last few days around here, I'm so sad, and I don't want to leave, and I miss my crew, and I love it down here. I don't ever want to leave.
And I'm glad you brought up your crew, because I want to circle back on that. You have an amazing relationship with your crew. And for people that don't understand, first of all, anytime you're on a boat with 3 or 4 crew members, it's one thing, but you have almost 40 crew members between the 3 boats you have.
Well, around 30, yes.
Okay. I knew it was up there. And my last night in town, we had an unbelievable barbecue, and then we had the Golden Key ceremony. And if you could take a moment and explain to everybody what the Golden Key ceremony is, because I think it's something that not just crew members or boats, but any business should be given this opportunity. And I thought it was a great, great moment. And I was very lucky to be a part of it. And I got to hold on to the golden key until everybody told me to shut up and you guys had to rip it out of my hand because I talked too much. So if you could explain
So
the golden key ceremony.
yeah, I mean, it's all about um, having a good relationship with your crew. I can't. I'm a businessman. I owned a private business for 30 years, and I took very good care of my people because they took care of me. And that's the same thing. I took that attitude into this industry, and we celebrate their birthdays. We do the barbecues. I'm cognizant of their families. We brought in a whole bunch of the family a week this summer, and I talk to them each personally. I'm cognizant of personal issues, and it's a friendship. It's a family, and the golden key is kind of the epitome of that. Is we're in a room. We've all worked hard that day, done something. It could be a Taco Tuesday. It could be a birthday. It could be a holiday. But everybody gets to talk. And some people are shy in the beginning, and then we have to tell them shut up. But it's a point where somebody can really say anything they want, and I think they appreciate that. They feel like they're part of the team. I get them involved. I love them. Take them fishing. We dive together. You have to be certified to work for me. They do all the treasure. They do all the stuff that we do, and it's one of these things where you got to respect them, you got to love them, and you got to take care of them. And they do the same for me. I mean, they had a birthday party for me. They all dressed up like pirates, and we had a bonfire and fireworks, and I mean, it was just magnificent. And I give everybody $1,000 for their birthday. I believe they're all well paid. I give good bonuses. I mean, money certainly is a factor. But I mean, you've seen it. You spent some time with us. They all do their jobs, and they're just wonderful people. I got 9 different nationalities. So
You have a great crew. I had so much fun when I was on your boat. Everybody, it does feel like a giant family. Everybody's together. Everybody always has a smile on their face. People are always enjoying themselves. And I remember the day we came back from bone fishing. They had the afternoon off, and people were water skiing and swinging from all kinds of things, and jumping in the water and diving and fishing and having a good time. And really, that's what life's all about. We only get one chance at this, so you might as well have a good time doing it.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to surround myself with happy people, and they want to be here. If you don't want to be here, go. And trust me, it ain't perfect. I watch below deck. Believe me, I know what goes on. And, it's one of these things where I don't see everything, but I got ears. I hear stuff. So
And it was funny. And it's one of those things I always remember the night of the barbecue, except for the handful of people that were getting ready for dinner or cooking dinner, everybody had gone off to take their showers, get ready. And you were walking around. I think I was talking to Katie, and you come out and say, I've got 30 people working here and I can't find anybody. So it's even still on a big boat like that, people, they disappear.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you can walk around here and you're like 30 people here. And what's neat though is when we're parked at the where people can get off and run around. I mean, everybody just exercises, and they go out on night. We have little cottages now, and we call it club walkers. You can stay down at these little staff cottages right now, and it's pretty neat here right now. I'm just I don't even want to leave. It's you want to hold on, just say, don't take me away from here.
I'm sure you know somebody if you wanted to stay.
Yeah, I got kids, and we got doctor's appointments, and I hadn't seen my dogs. My dogs I think are going to disown me, so it's time. But we'll be back. And it's what's going to be cool is when we come back, we're going to see a lot of changes. We have our generators are gone. We're going to get rid of the diesel generators, and we're going with the liquid natural gas, the LNGs, and those will be here. But when I get back, so I'm really excited about that. They're 50% of the emissions, 50% of the noise, and about half the cost once you get up and running. So it's going to be pretty neat to have those here.
So, and that brings up, that's a good segue to the another part about the island, where you're bringing in the liquid natural gas, but you're doing a lot of stuff that is very pro environment on the island. You're doing a lot of stuff as far as trash and plastics and all that. And if we can touch on that, how that stuff is coming along, and also what your plan is on that.
Yeah. So I mean, this island right now and around it, to be honest with you, is in pristine condition. Okay, it's really neat to see this island like it is now, but we have a big responsibility to take care of this whole area. There's a national park that's just north of me here that's never been enforced. We're going to kind of help with that. I grew up going to Belize, and as a kid, I remember them protecting part of the reef down there. And as I grew up, I watched what that reef, that little section of reef, did for the whole barrier reef. And I'm hoping that we can do that out here, even with the Bahamians. If we can just respect this park, it will help the whole barrier reef out here. Trash has always been an issue. You're on an island. You know, what do? You burn it, you recycle it. What do? I've got a bunch of ideas. You know, I come from the business. So reduce, reuse, recycle. You know, those are my 3 R's. Natural gas is obviously a big factor. That's a major thing with hardly any emissions now. Water, we don't like bottled water. We're going to put in as many water stations as we can, and people using the reusable stuff. Try and the mandate in this country, single-use plastic gone by 2030. I've pledged that myself to the Prime Minister. We're working with a couple of environmental companies and concerns in this country that are helping us do that. With the adults are set in their ways. It's hard to work with the adults. That's they're just set. But the children, they're easy to work with. They recognize it, and we spend a lot of time with the school kids, saying, hey, there's other ways to do it. So absolutely, I'm very concerned about that. I'd like to have a 12-foot rule around walkers, that a no-kill zone. If I can't make that a law, but I'd sure like people to respect that. But we got a lot to offer here. There's 40 miles of chain of islands that can accommodate many people out here. The resources, as long as we respect them, don't take too much, size limits, things like that. But absolutely, I do have a responsibility for that. We're going to have a lot of people here, and we got to maintain, the trash, and I'm very concerned about that. Absolutely, but we're good at it too. I come from that. So.
It's a great plan to have. I do have one question, or I don't. Somebody has asked, what kind of dogs do you have back home that you get to go visit?
I'm a lab guy. I got one real old lab that's called Bo, and he is probably not going to make it to Christmas, so we got to do that. But I have a young lab, a big black dog called Johnny Cash, and people say you call him Johnny Cash, and I said, well, I call him actually Cash because we got him the day I sold my company, and I sold for cash, so I call him Cash.
That's a good enough reason.
Yeah, what I do want is we need some island dogs, and I need some recommendations there, maybe some little collies or something that real friendly to visitors, that run up to your boat, and stuff like that. So
All right, you hear that, everybody. While you're listening, we need some recommendations on what kind of island dogs to have. Just put it right here in the comments, and I'll make sure Carl gets them. This crowdsourcing. We'll put it out to the crowd.
Probably really weird stuff.
Who knows? No two people are going to have the same dog. So you're going to have like 30 different options.
Yeah. Yes.
30 different options. So this is some really big news coming at Walkers. And I know after my visit, and even still to this day, I came back with so many pictures. And as I keep posting them up, it's amazing how many questions that people have about Walkers as we continue to post these pictures up and show people, hey, this is, a little bit what we did, and this is what we're doing. We just released the video of you and I on the back deck talking about your vision of Walkers. And there's a lot of interest in what's going on in Walkers and all the area around it, because it's been shut down for so long. I see people already on commenting about wanting to be down. Um, Tell Captain Les no Portuguese water dog. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds too much like Portuguese man of war. He's commenting on, he's watching online. His recommendation is a Portuguese water dog. There's one person, Mike Fung. He's asking to, why don't you import some dogs from Antigua? They have way too many down there.
Absolutely.
So the recommendations are already coming in.
But I see that for the next week.
What for the next week? All these comments about dogs. That's exactly what's going to happen. We're gonna see, which is fine. That's what we're asking for. Give us the comments. We want to see it. So in your last few days while you're there, before you leave, do you have any big plans of fishing? You say you're planning on going tarpon fishing this afternoon. Anything else?
I got to definitely get at least one more offshore for sure. We'll do that. And then, we always like to hit bonefish. Probably do that right here at the end of Walker's. The big bonefish. We don't have the huge numbers, but man, we're getting missiles at the end of the runway down here. You need the tide to be moving a little bit, but man, is that a blast.
I'll tell you what, I remember the day that we stopped over by Grand, in between Grand and Little Grand, and we were getting ready to do a short video, and suddenly we saw about a dozen of them come going by, and the water wasn't more than 6 inches deep, clear as a bell, and like you said, just missiles going right by us.
Well, I mean, you saw it. We're so close to the Gulf Stream out there that we get the flow every day. That the flats, it's like paddling a gin. It's so clear, and on a real calm day, you can see the fish a long ways away. And that's what we look for, is that real calm. Get up into Stranger's Key where we went, a key called Romer's, and one of our favorite places called Double Breasted. It's on and on and on, and they're loaded with fish. One of my favorite things, I think we did that with the Horseye Jacks.
Oh, we did. That was a lot of fun.
Big fish with you. We caught I think the week you left, we caught that big African pompano, probably 30 something pounds right there, right near that wreck.
Wow.
So again, just the variety. It just boggles your mind out here. I mean, I spent the last 2 years, it's never a dull day. You find we catch a fish somewhere every day out here.
That's the great part of Walkers is you can be there for 5 months and never get bored. You can do so many different things between fishing and diving. Now, that's something I want to bring up to you. You did have, and his name skips my mind, but you had a diver there that did some unbelievably incredible diving and spearfishing there.
Yes, we had Cameron Kirkconnell, incredible guy. And he went out one day and he speared more in about 20 minutes than I usually catch in a week. And it's amazing what they do. They go under ledges and they're scaring sharks away. I mean, just I highly recommend that guy and check out his Facebook page. He really does some amazing things. And he wants to come out here and do more of it. I think we're going to figure out some way to partner up with him. He's a magnificent guy.
That's awesome. I saw the pictures that he was posting and you guys were posting. It definitely looked like a great time and some unbelievable diving.
Oh, the diving here, it's just second to none. I mean, I've heard, everybody always talks about Bon Air is one of the best places in the world. I would put out here some of these places to Walkers are some of the best places in the world out there for scuba diving, as well as selling here.
You guys, I mean, really, again, like you said, there's a reason why your entire crew has to be certified, because everything around Walkers is beautiful for scuba diving.
Yes, it's magnificent, and they're taking it beyond. I mean, I got master divers, I got rescue divers, I got cave divers, and it's pretty neat to see how they've all kind of gone off in different directions and done things. But it's an operation when we're out there doing a deal or diving on a wreck or something. It is 16, 17 people in the water. We're spearing. It's quite incredible to watch.
So I have to interrupt this. There is somebody that's saying hello to the both of us, and I'm assuming saying hello to Gigi as well. It's your daughter, Katie. She's joined us online. And she's waving online. I see she has three hand emojis waving.
Tell her I
So
said hi. My granddaughter.
listen, I don't need to tell her. You just told her yourself. So she's watching, and say hello to the granddaughters as well. I called her up a few weeks ago, and I forget what I was asked. I was asking her something, and she's like, "I have to go pick up my daughters." So I talked to her for a few minutes on her way to go pick up the kids.
Well, she's working on this, coffee table book for walkers, and she really picked up the ball. Very proud of her, and it's she's trying to interview as many people as she can, and she talked to people like Billy Black and yourself, and it's going to be pretty neat. A lot of the old fishermen here, and I'm proud of her. She's really gotten into it.
It's going to be it is an amazing project, but it's going to be amazing once it comes out to have the history, the present, and the future of walkers in there. For people that want to know a little bit about the history of walkers and walkers, it goes so far back, not just what we know about it, but going back to the 14 and 1500s. Speaking of Billy Black, he just joined in as well. He's watching. I had him on the other day, and it was such a good time to hear some of the stories of Billy and Alan. He told me a story that they shot a Goliath grouper, and it took all of them to get him back on board. And there was another one, he was worried that it was going to eat Alan. Right in the channel there at Walker's. He was worried he was going to lose his son to the Goliath grouper. So with all this information that's going out, and while we have so many people watching, is there anything you think that we've missed, or what other information do you want to get out there to the people about not just Walker's, the island, and the resort, but all the projects you have going on there? Is there any other information that you want to, reiterate on and let people know?
Well, yeah, there is actually something quite big. I've got to work it out a little details with the government yet. But the minute that we cut the ribbon on this marina, which I think will be later this year, is that the $1 million fish is on. And so if somebody brings in a fish, 1,000-pound fish, you got to check in here first. You bring me a 1,000-pound fish, and we will hand you $1 million.
So and I just want to clarify one thing. You are saying it's 1,000-pound blue marlin.
Correct. Yes. 1,000-pound blue marlin.
Because too many people I know, they'll go out. If you just leave it at fish, they might come back in with a tiger shark.
Sure. Exactly. No, it is the pointed bill, the billfish, the blue marlin.
Yeah. That is awesome news. So they have to have been checked in there beforehand. They can't be fishing off of marsh and then bring it in to weigh in. They have to be staying in Walkers.
There's going to be some rules. Obviously I got to do it. I don't want people killing 800, 700-pound fish. We're going to have the measuring device I hope people will use. I've talked to a lot of people that caught big fish on getting their advice. We're going to put together a rule package. But yes, you have to check into Walkers that morning. You don't have to stay here. You can just check in here. And, you got 24 hours.
So. That is a great opportunity. If there's any place that can bring in 1,000-pound blue marlin, I know the Waters Off Walkers can.
If you talk to been doing it forever. He's had them on. I know he said he's caught one. And one day I asked him, what's the biggest one? And he thinks, correct me if I'm wrong here, Billy, but I think it was close to 1,400 pounds.
Wow.
So they're definitely there. You just could be there right now. You just never know.
You're not going to catch them sitting at the dock.
There's a picture of one. I forgot when it was, but it was 862, I think. It was probably the biggest one I've seen in the pictures.
Okay. Okay, 862. That's a nice one. And that's another point I just remember because talking to Billy the other day, we were talking about the triple header bluefin tunas that were caught in walkers, and the one that they did bring back to the dock was over 1,000 pounds. So we lots of rules. Make sure it's very very specific. 1,000 pound blue marlin, and you get to hang it and weigh it from that gantry.
Yes. That
That
would be the ultimate for me. That will be, I know I'm getting there.
That's not even I'm there. That is just I'm getting there. That's a great thing. So that man, that's some really big news that everybody wants to hear. Um, and it would be great if it happens in the first few years of Walker's being open. That would be very, very awesome to see happen. It would be a great way to open up Walker's and let people know that it's a Blue Marlin destination. I'm going to throw out there, it would be really nice to see it on the 4th of July. I'm a little partial. People know. So I'm very partial to big blue marlins being weighed on the 4th of July, as people know, being the tournament director for the World Cup. Uh, it would be nice to see it on that day, so close to home.
Absolutely. Yes. It can happen.
It definitely can happen. It definitely can happen. Um, And so you said you're going to have your bar. Did you, and I correct me if I'm wrong, did you put the name of the new bar? Have you let everybody the name of the new bar on
Yes.
Walkers?
It's going to be called Corks,
Okay.
CORK, and that's the name of my stepfather, Cork Walgreen, who introduced me to the island back in 1976. And we just came here to check in, and I wanted to move here back then when I was 12. And, I got to buy it when I was 54. So it's a dream come true. And it's a hard dream come true, but in process, but it's going to happen.
So that makes me think you said you wanted to live there when you first came there in 1977. Back then, would you have ever thought that you would have purchased Walkers?
I kiddingly said to my stepdad, I'm gonna buy this one day. Absolutely. He passed away a couple of years ago, but it would. I wish that he was alive when I bought this island because I actually said that to him. But it became a reality, I think, when I sold the company, which I never thought I would do. But it was like the first thing that came to my mind. I think I looked at my wife and she said, "I know what you're thinking. You're going there, aren't you?" And the minute I stepped on the island, I said, "Here, let's go, let's do this." And fortunately, the Applenet family, they wanted to sell it to another family, and so the history, especially their history, is very important to me. And we spent a lot of time talking to Marie and Johnny, and Mrs. Applenapp is still alive at 95. Very sweet woman, knows all the history out here. Spent a lot of time on the phone with her. So, it's one of these things where it's now where we're going to create new dreams. People that come here. There's a gap where, like my kids, for instance, they don't really understand walkers because it was dormant for their whole childhood, pretty much. But there's that, you and I, and people like Billy that in that generation that just remember this place, and that's my dream, is to recreate that feeling of what Walkers is all about. I mean, it's the gateway. It's a dream. Um, I walk around it every morning with my wife. Just I can't believe that I own it. It's unbelievable that we're able to do this, and I'm doing it for everybody. I mean, there's so much excitement about this island that I'm actually not going to live here. My house floats over there. Um, I'm doing it for my kids, and I'm doing it for all the people that love this island in Florida, and the Bahamians. They need it real bad.
And that brings up a good point. And I'd like to touch on it because while I was there with you, the islands are still recovering from Dorian. And Dorian was an unbelievable, catastrophic Category 5 storm that literally parked itself right on top of the Abacos for 36 hours. And it was complete and total devastation. But you took it upon yourself with your crew to help the people of Little Grand. And
Yeah, I mean,
if you could explain just some of the things you guys did, because it was really amazing when I was there with you.
absolutely. The fleet got here about 5 days after the storm, just because we couldn't get here because of the weather. I was nervous about walkers and Little Grand. I literally thought there were going to be a whole bunch of people that didn't make it in Little Grand, and they did. And so we dropped everything that we were doing at Walkers, literally stopped everything to do relief. And we did that for 2 months. Axes going back and forth. I think we delivered over 1 million pounds of goods, not including fuel and water and stuff like that. But it was a big sense of, look, these are my neighbors. I'm only going to be as good as them. And we did quite a bit at the West End. One of my favorite things, we delivered Tesla batteries to a hospital. That was pretty important. But construction supplies and food, and it just our team here. I told them all one night. I said, "You're folk legends. What you did in this country. I mean, as individuals, we probably did more in 2 months than anybody. The government just didn't have the resources to get here. We raised $1 million fund for them through the GoFundMe. We hired Florida Power and Light guys to come over, had their power up running in 2 weeks, had their water up in 3 weeks. It was devastating to me. And my wife and I went over there. We've got to help these people. We got the clinic up and running right away. We got the school cleaned out. It was labor of love for sure. But now they love us over there, and there are some very good people over there that are gonna be the future of this island. I mean, we're gonna be run by them. So yeah.
And you can definitely tell they love you because as we go by on boats, everybody knows you. Everybody knows you. You're like everybody's godfather on that island.
Well, the flag, the Big Daddy, and you see a lot of that out here. And I guess I'm kind of the new Big Daddy out here. And also, what's kind of neat is, everybody used to call Mr. Apple and I'm Mr. A. And so everybody calls me that now, just kind of calls me Mr. A. And that's a real compliment to me.
That's awesome to hear. That is very awesome to hear and literally, for the ladies and gentlemen that are listening right now, we're only scratching the surface in the stories of what Carl and Gigi and the entire crew did over there. The stories of helping people put roofs on and put up drywall and clean up the mess. It's the stories I heard while I was there were amazing. They truly were. And as people are coming back and forth from Walkers or coming into Grand, everybody sees you and they wave at you and they're so happy to see you. So that is, you know what? That's what boating is really all about. It's helping each other out. It's a really big deal. And I have to thank Ryan. Ryan just put up your shopping site for your t-shirts and your hats. So Ryan, thank you. Thank you very much, Ryan, for putting that up there.
Awesome.
For anybody that wants to look good, go to that store and get yourself a Walker's hat. Here's a question. If they buy the Walker's hat and they see you on the island, will you sign it for them? Will you give them an autograph?
Yeah. You know what? It's kind of funny. I've actually signed a couple autographs. I never absolutely. Yes.
There you go. So if you guys have a Walker's hat, Mr. Carl Allen will sign his autograph to your hat if you see him on the island. I like it. I like it. It gives everybody an opportunity to get the hat and get your autograph while they're at it.
Absolutely. Yes. Please come. Please come.
There you go. So we're getting to be about that witching hour. Again, is there, you talked about the $1 million fish. And again, there's a lot, and people, you got to understand, everybody that's listening, you got to understand this is an ever changing target. There's so many things where this is not just building a house with lots of road and infrastructure driving cars and trucks in and out every day. This is building something on an island in a different country during a pandemic, during hurricane season. So there's all kinds of things that can change. Is there any other information that you would like to put out there and let people know? And I'm prefacing it with all of this because I don't want anything that you say to be held. You're held to that word because there's so many things that can change between the pandemic, between storms. Not only the Bahamian election, now we have our election, and this is the no BS, so we're not talking about politics, but there is things that can change. So what any other information, you're talking about some soft openings, opening it up by the end of the year, just so people can come in and see it. Is there any other information that you want to put out there for people to know?
Well, I mean, I think you said it earlier. It's like dodgeball out here. You don't know what's coming, waiting for locusts and meteors. But it is one of these things where you got to expect it. You know, you plan on it. You know, and change is nothing but change. And we do that with the crew. I mean, we huddle up all the time, going, okay, what's going to change next? Same way with this island, and you got to work around that. And I think we've done a pretty good job. This next few months, we're probably going to get more done than we did all summer. And it's one of probably, like I said, I'd love to have people come in here and check it out. But in the future, you know, weddings. I mean, I want to cater to that. I mean, that's something that we're looking forward to. That I think, you know, fishing tournaments. That's what my main goal. I want to bring back the shootouts, the customs. You know, that first tournament is that will know when I mean, strike me down there, Lord, because my life will be complete when we get that first tournament here, because I'll know that's when we're there. And you know, the other thing is there's just so much to do other than fish out here. You know, you've got kiteboarding with these flats out here. We've discovered through these storms that we had these last few weeks, there's a hell of a wave out there. You go to our Facebook page, it looks like Hawaii coming in through there.
It was pretty impressive. That was Hurricane Teddy, and
yes.
that was impressive.
Yes, you don't want me out there. Got some crew in here that are great surfers, and they were like, it's world class out there.
Now, yeah, my question, did you partake in any of that surfing?
I drove the boat and did a little photography. No, you won't see me out there. I've got 2 artificial hips. All I want to do is walk.
And that is a reef break, so that's very unforgiving.
Yeah. I asked Ian, I said, what's the dark spot underneath these? That's coral reef. I'm like, it's like a meat grinder if you get caught in it.
That is a meat grinder. And I did see a couple of really cool videos of your guys out there surfing. I got wind of it that you guys were surfing out there, and I had to check it out. And I did. I opened up the Facebook page. I was like, wow, that was very Hawaii 5-0-ish.
Yeah.
So on that note, what's that?
Fly. I'll tell you what, we will cut the ribbon on this show for the Marina. So when that happens, I'll give you plenty of alert, but we'll do it. We'll cut the ribbon there on this show.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it right here from the man himself. We will do it live right here on the No BS. Cutting of the ribbon of Walker's Key, opening it up to everybody. Commodore, I can't thank you enough for reaching out to me and wanting to come on the No BS again. You're always welcome. But I thank you for your time today and all the laughs and a lot of the people didn't get a chance to see it before we came live. It was more laughing than anything else. So which really, truth be told, was pretty much the 3.5 days that I spent with you on the GG and the Access. It was a lot of laughing and giggling and telling funny stories, which again, for me, that's what boating and fishing is all about. I'm a firm believer. If I'm not having a good time, I don't want to do it. I've been very fortunate in all the things that I do. I get to pick and choose the people that I have around me, and I like to have a good time. So that's a very important thing. So, Carl, if you hold on there 1 second, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, unless you want to say something first.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, Fly. And, if the Tidal Wave twins or whatever you call them, if they want to come on, do a show, what do they call them?
The Gale Force twins.
Gale Force twins, yeah. They expressed some interest in walkers. Would love to have them.
All right. I will let them know, and I'll reach out to them this afternoon. And I'm going to, the only thing I'm going to tell them is they have to bring me so I can go fishing. I just want to go fishing. All righty. To all you cool cats and kittens, thank you so much. Carl, you hang by. Don't hang up yet. But everybody else, you heard it from him. The official opening ceremony will be here live on the No BS World Tour. You see it. I've seen Brett and Ryan join in that if you order some clothes, it's free shipping and free decals as well. So go to the shop. Hey, I'm just repeating what I was told, man. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm kidding. Free decals for everybody. You need one of Carl. You need one of these. You need one of these decals.
There we go. Send it on, man.
All righty. Everybody, thank you so much. Carl, hang tight, and we will check you guys next week. Have a great weekend, guys.